Larry, thank you very much for those very kind comments for a number of reasons. One is, obviously, you've been a spectacular partner and a great friend. And I really appreciate you being here this evening because I know your schedule and your agenda. It's nice to catch Larry in the country. The other thing I want everyone to know is really I'm the genius behind BlackRock. And I tell you, as Pete will tell you and some other people will tell you, one of the things that you need to know is what you don't know. And what I needed to know is that we needed to keep our money directly aligned with Larry's. And then let Larry do whatever he wanted to do with it. And it's worked out great. Thank you, Larry. It's spectacular. Charlie, thank you very much for this honor, you and the trustees of CED. Thank you very much for honoring PNC this evening and the employees of PNC who've really done a spectacular job in the Grow Up Great initiative that I'll talk about in a moment. But also I want to thank CED because lately I've noticed how important it is, perhaps more than I noticed before. I've been on the board or as a trustee for 10 years now, which doesn't seem that long, but the interesting issue about CED is that they are a constant force. Never in my life have I seen swings. We always talk about the pendulum, and clearly the pendulum swung in one direction 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. It's swinging in the other direction. And the unwavering commitment to knowledge-based decision-making and supporting various issues like health care, governance, early childhood education really is spectacular that CED is promoting those things and studying those things from a fact base never has been more important. But let me talk a little bit about the issue of early childhood education because that's really how I became involved with CED. And when you think about how important early childhood education is, it's quite remarkable that we are in the position we are today because we don't have early childhood education for the needy. CED's work in early childhood education began in the 90s, long before we started our Grow Up Great program. And they've been the source of many reports, but most importantly, I believe, they funded Jim Heckman, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, whose analysis actually is the bedrock of early childhood education today. And they really started looking at how important it was for children. It clearly appears that our workforce is ill-suited and becoming more and more ill-suited to compete in a knowledge-based economy that we are involved in today, with over 20% of U.S. workers being unable to read at a base level. Unable to read at a base level, and we're going to compete on a global basis. Across the nation, we have tens of thousands of children entering kindergarten 18 months behind the average child. From that point in time, the gap between themselves and the average child grows, and by the time that they get to 5th grade, they make life decisions. Quite simply, Charlie was getting A's and B's, I was getting D's and F's. I ended up a banker. Anyway, think of yourself as the kid getting D's and F's. You understand that there's a whole series of things that you won't be able to do in life. And by the time you're in the 5th grade, you will make those decisions. You don't catch up. Statistics show that 27% today of 9th graders fail to graduate high school. Some urban areas have over a 40% dropout rate. It's kind of remarkable, and clearly we have to spend a lot of time fixing this. The Jim Heckman study shows that for every dollar that we spend in early childhood education, the society saves $16+ in less incarceration, rehabilitation, and welfare. That we lose an economic engine when we lose that child. So quite frankly, we need to invest in early childhood education. Along with CED, partners like Sesame Street, a board of directors for Grow Up Great, that's a national group of people, a woman named Eva Bloom, who couldn't be with us this evening. She's being honored by another group this evening, which is very, very nice. She and a team of PNC people really created Grow Up Great, which is a $100 million commitment to early childhood education. We've had a number of grants. We're spending that $100 million as fast as we can. We actually pay employees 40 hours a year to volunteer time. Our employees have contributed 122,000 hours so far. We've donated more than 100,000 items from mittens and gloves. We've distributed over 500,000 Happy, Healthy, Ready for School kits. It was created by Sesame Street for parents to learn how to teach their children. And so there's a number of new initiatives going on, and we have acquired the National City Bank, which is going to allow us to take Grow Up Great to a much larger footprint. And we're very proud of this because we can actually show in programs in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Scranton, New Jersey, where we've improved math, science, and vocabulary as much as 40% in 1 year by contributing money and volunteer time to early childhood centers. But frankly, it's only a drop in the bucket, and that's where CED comes in. The $100 million commitment over a period of time really doesn't move the needle. The availability of quality early childhood education is absolutely critical to our success over time as a country. We can't lose sight of the economic impact of losing a child. Become involved. Get on a board in your community. You can see these kids show up in kindergarten with a 25 to a 50% deficiency in vocabulary the day they get there. It's not surprising that they can't catch up. The gap grows. CED has pointed to this. I think, quite frankly, it's something that is not just a CED issue. It's not just a PNC issue. It's an American issue. We've got to really change early childhood education, because if we don't get them there, if we still have a substantial population that shows up without competitive vocabulary, they won't graduate from high school. And the wonderful stories about how Bobby took Susie Snowflake under his arm and she turned out okay, that's a one-off. In a global environment, we can't afford to lose these children. It's much too difficult. So thank you very much for CED. Charlie, you and CED have done a great job in making this a visible program across the country, how important early childhood education is. You've seen funding grow from states and from the federal government for early childhood education, but we're a long way from home. Thank you very much on behalf of all the employees at PNC, and Charlie, thank you very much to you and the trustees, and congratulations to the other honorees this evening. It's great being honored with you.